Okay. Okay, students. Welcome. Students, you should all be facing this way now. We're good? Okay. It is my absolute delight to welcome you here today. I'm Susan Ager-Kippenhahn. I'm the Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs here at Linfield University, and this is a momentous day. I want to welcome students, families, friends, faculty and staff of the Linfield Good Samaritan School of Nursing. And I bring greetings from President Miles Davis, who would absolutely love to be here, but who is out of state today. So I bring greetings from him as well. So in so many ways, this is the moment for nursing. In April of 2020, think back, the World Health Organization identified that we need 6 million new nurses by 2030. So thank you. Your education has been informed and shaped by this monumental moment for nursing, for healthcare in general. You know, just in your time at Linfield, we have seen unprecedented and sweeping changes, extraordinary exceptions made by the Oregon State Board of Nursing that allowed for the continuation of clinicals through simulation, and of course, the chance to see a real-time development of new vaccines, the corresponding rollout of a huge vaccination program, and you have been on the front lines. You've learned in many ways. You've demonstrated resilience and discipline. You've been tested, literally and figuratively, and you've achieved in huge measure. To our first class of MSN graduates ever at Linfield, we are thrilled to contribute to your journey as nurse leaders. Last time Linfield hooded a master's student was in the mid-90s, so it is momentous for us as well. So thank you all for heeding the call. Thank you for stepping into the profession and stepping up in your profession. And before we applaud you, nursing students, join me in thanking Dean Jones, Associate Dean Smith, and the faculty and staff of the School of Nursing who got you here today. And then one more round of applause for your family and friends who often carry us through to the end. And now, thank you, students, for your amazing achievement. We are so pleased to be celebrating with you today.
All right, please be seated. This is so fun to look out over our campus and get to see you all. This is fabulous. I am Dr. Kim Dupree-Jones. I'm the Dean of the Linfield Good Samaritan School of Nursing, and it's such a great honor to be here with you today. Just a note about our mask. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we ask that visitors to campus, including family and friends of our students, wear masks. And you'll notice that we ordered many extra chairs today, so if anyone feels like they're too close, feel free to stand up and walk to a less crowded location. That's why we have extra chairs if you would be more comfortable there. You'll notice that some of our vaccinated students and faculty and staff will be unmasked when they're outside and able to be more than 6 feet from other people, so that will be why you see some variation in masking. Despite being fully vaccinated myself, I will continue to wear my mask this afternoon, but please trust me, I am smiling behind this mask. It is a good day. As Madam Provost said, today is a special day, and it's notable really for 3 reasons. It's the first time we've been able to have an in-person ceremony since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. It's the first time we've ever held this ceremony on our beautiful new campus. And it's the first time that we have Masters of Science in Nursing students being hooded here today. And this is such an accomplishment, graduates and families and friends, and because school is always hard, but this time we did it all in a pandemic, when we were literally making up the rules every day, listening to the science every day, and making changes. I'd like to introduce two very important people. For every pinning ceremony, the graduating students select one of their own to address the class. This year, because it's a special COVID year, they elected two speakers. So I would like to invite both Gregory Dallas and Amanda Wood to come to the podium.
I guess we can take these off while we're up here.
Okay, ready? Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Dean Jones, for introducing us. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Gregory, and we are both members of the Accelerated BSN cohort. And we are so very honored and humbled to speak on behalf of all three groups graduating today. Our wonderful Accelerated BSN classmates, the RN to BSN graduates, and the MSN graduates as well. And again, it is our great pleasure to welcome all of you, students, our families, our friends, faculty, and the staff of Linfield University for our summer graduation and pinning ceremony. Each and every one of you has made an impact on the graduates who sit here today, and we are thrilled to be celebrating with you.
We all know that these last 15 months have been anything but perfect. But despite the pandemic, wildfires, smoke, snow, ice, and personal challenges, we have all stuck it out to get to this moment. A moment to celebrate together, weirdly in person. From the start, COVID definitely made our experience challenging, to say the least. For me, the first time I realized what nursing school during COVID would mean was the day I received my acceptance letter, awkwardly, in my junk mail folder of all places. I was shocked, excited, and terrified all in one moment. I immediately called my parents to tell them the good news, and while I was waiting for them to pick up the phone, it dawned on me I couldn't celebrate that huge moment in person with them or my friends. However, we all found creative ways to celebrate. When school started, it was a little rough for us. Classes were almost all online, but we were so excited to get going after months of quarantine. For myself, it was nice to finally be able to talk to someone besides my sister/roommate. I blame this reason for my constant oversharing each week during our Zoom sessions. We had to get creative for the skills portion too. Like many others, I practiced my head to toe on my dog, and let's just say, dogs are not overly compliant patients, even though Instagram suggests otherwise. In hindsight, I wish I would have chose a stuffed animal, as it probably would have been a better option, but we survived. And so did our favorite patient, Tina. After what seemed like hundreds of discussion posts, we were ready for the second term and getting our first real patients. It was a great and nerve-wracking feeling the first time passing meds and performing a head-to-toe on a real human. Nerves got the best of us at times that created some laughable moments. One student listened to the heart on the wrong side of the chest, and I managed to dump an entire bag of potassium all down my front. But we came together to support each other through the challenging moments and the grueling patho-pharm exams. Third semester was very special to us because it was the first time we actually had a class in person. And let me tell you, meeting people in person is strange when you only know them shoulder up. People are either taller or shorter than you'd expect. But it was so great to experience at least one class together. And somehow, we all passed acute. This semester, we were back online, but thankfully we got all of us got a senior practicum placement. We grew so much this term and started to really feel like we belonged in this profession and that we were going to make great nurses. Personally, it took me a while to feel like I was adequate. I started to compare myself to my preceptor, believing I needed to know and be able to do everything that she could do. I am so grateful to the people that are sitting here today and helped me get through the moment of doubt. I am standing here today because of all of you.
Amanda sure is right about that. This year was a roller coaster of ups and downs. But despite it all, I have no doubt that we will all be great nurses. Those of us in the accelerated program learned so much so quickly. Our colleagues in the RN to BSN program added even more tools to their already overflowing toolboxes. And you MSN grads now have the skills you need to make real change in our system. We all know how to get patients ambulating and apply evidence to practice and, for some reason, do med math. But, as we enter an environment where nearly 1 in 3 nurses say that they're overwhelmed and considering changing careers, we're going to face big challenges. We'll go from 0 to 100 in no time at all. And that's exciting because it means we're needed. But it also means that we're going to have to take care of ourselves, because no one else will have time to do it for us. For me, the biggest challenge during nursing school has been asking for the help I need. And I know I'm not alone in that. I don't necessarily mean asking for help with the little stuff like putting in IVs or figuring out how the heck you place a bedpan. By the way, do not put them under patients who are sitting in wheelchairs. I did that. It is extremely messy. No, I'm not talking about the little stuff. I'm talking about the big stuff, the scary stuff. The times when we're struggling with work that seems like too much or it's too over our heads, and we think that admitting we need help means we're not enough. The times when we're overwhelmed at home. The times when we just aren't feeling up to snuff or maybe don't even want to get out of bed, but we don't even understand why. That's what I struggle with most. Like many of you, I can get so afraid of what it means about me if I show others that I'm not perfect. I've been thinking about this a lot, especially this last term as we prepare to step out into practice. One thing I keep coming back to is this lesson that Buddhist teacher Pema Chodron includes in her great book, The Places That Scare You. Chodron writes, "Confess your hidden faults, approach what you find repulsive, help those you think you cannot help. Anything you are attached to, let it go. Go to the places that scare you." Because I know that in truth we all have scary places and we all face challenges. Whether it's still not really understanding EKGs, or struggling to juggle dinner time and discussion posts, or navigating learning differences, or something else entirely, we are each of us imperfect people who are trying our best. And I also know that people are ready and willing to help, if only we ask. But we do have to ask, and I believe that's going to be our real challenge going forward. Staying in tune enough with ourselves, despite the excitement and frenzy of new jobs and huge need, to realize when we can't do it all on our own. When we do need another pair of hands to pitch in, or another brain to problem solve, or another heart to show us compassion when we can't show it to ourselves. And rather than hiding, our real challenge is going to be approaching those moments, moving toward them and toward one another, so we can keep moving forward toward who we're meant to be.
In closing, we'd like to say thank you to our fellow graduates. Thank you for sharing our successes and often hilarious failures. Thank you for sharing your vulnerability. Thank you for welcoming our own vulnerabilities with compassion. Most of all, thank you for choosing nursing and for all the ways you show up for your patients, one another, and yourselves. We cannot wait to see where the journey takes you.
And to all of you, our friends, family, wonderful faculty, and Linfield's incredible staff, we want to say a huge thank you for the sacrifices you've made to help us get here, for making us braver and better and a lot more well-nourished than we might otherwise be. We really could not have done it without you. So, congratulations to the most flexible,
Resilient,
and adaptable nursing classes ever to graduate.
despite these unprecedented times.
We did it!
Thank you, Gregory and Amanda. It's fabulous. The students also select a member of the faculty to address them. This year's honored faculty is Dr. Sandra Davis. Dr. Davis, or Dr. D as she is known to her students, teaches in the pre-licensure program. She's a 10-year Air Force veteran and a 23-year nurse, the majority of that time spent practicing as a certified registered nurse anesthetist. She transitioned into education about 7 years ago and has never looked back. She's known among her students for her humor pedagogy, storytelling, podcasting, and passion for teaching them. Welcome, Dr. Davis.
Thank you. Good afternoon. You guys look really good. Good afternoon, Madam Provost, Dean Jones, Dean Smith. I'm going to say all the same people. Esteemed colleagues, staff, family, friends, loved ones, and good afternoon, Linfield students. First, let me thank you. I thank you so much for this distinct privilege and honor to join you today for this momentous occasion of your nurse pinning. What an accomplishment. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so happy to see your smiling faces. I remember my pinning like it was yesterday, 23 years ago. I bet some of our RN to BSN and our MSN students also remember that day. The excitement that I felt about my future in nursing, I still remember it. So cherish today and know that this is one of those best days of your life moments. Which brings us to who, I know we already applauded them, but we're going to do it again. Who you are sharing your moment with. It goes without saying that you would not have had the same experience or possible success of getting through this past year without your support systems, your loved ones, your family, your friends, your puppers, your kitties. They're so happy that this is all over. So to all your loved ones, we applaud you. Linfield applauds you. And our graduates applaud you. Class, you know I love you. You will always be known as the cohort who wasn't afraid to speak up or ask questions. You rose to the challenge of virtual learning in the middle of a global pandemic, so pat yourself on the back. Who can say that? It didn't deter you. As student nurses, you took those challenges on with grace and a tremendous amount of courage. You have demonstrated a spirit of inquiry, creativity, and at times bravery. In my opinion, that is the core of being a flexible nurse of today. When I found out you wanted for me to speak at your pinning, I was panicked for a few minutes. I reflected, and I did come up with 3 concepts that I have prioritized. First, never stop learning. Relish today, take it all in, bask in that accomplishment, but know that this is not the end. This time at Linfield has just been the beginning. Once you get settled into your first job, you don't have to take out your textbook, but Dr. D gives you permission to get on Wikipedia. Go ahead and look up nurses that have come before you. Florence, of course, Clara Barton, Dorothea Dixon, Mary Jane Sakal, Mary Eliza Mahoney, Lillian Wald, Harriet Tubman. Your history, your profession is full and rich. If you don't like history, find a theorist. Try finding a favorite theorist. If you don't have one, you should find one. It'll make you realize that you're among some pretty amazing company in the nursing profession. Currently, I'm on the admiration train of Hildegard Peplau. She was a staunch advocate for mental health care and for nursing as a profession. She championed formal education, and at age 78, Hildegard said the following words, which I find profound, and I'd like to share them with you. Somewhere, somehow, at some time in the past, courageous nurses determined these skills, learned them, fought for the right to use them, and taught them to other nurses. All nurses have an obligation to remember that part of nursing's past and to keep their own skills in pace with new opportunities for nursing into the next century. So never stop learning. Second concept, never stop loving people. And yes, I said the L word. We rarely use that word in healthcare. Instead, we say words like compassion. Compassion in Latin, in its literal form, means to suffer together with. You cannot do that or accomplish that without loving kindness. This can only be accomplished through loving kindness. The love of all people is the underpinning of how our profession provides that compassionate care. And I know it's hard to love people these days. They can make you have one of your very best days and your very worst days. I just simply ask that you love them through it, because in reflection, you know that they trust you implicitly. They will soften your heart and humble you after thanking you for preserving their dignity. These sacred moments of vulnerability that we share with our patients and their family, it changes us. We become better human beings. Loving people is the essence of that process. And lastly, third concept, and you won't get away without a story. Never forget who you are and where you started. We know that many of you are going to go on, you're going to get your master's, you're going to get your NP, your CRNA, your CCRN, your PhD, your DNP. We expect that. The past year at Linfield University has prepared you for that. We would expect that you build upon that Linfield education. When I was thinking about an example, because I know this is the group that always likes an example, for this third concept, 3 words came to mind that means the same in every culture across the globe. I'm a nurse. The phrase seems simple enough, but these words hold power and promise, and you'll find it's a never-ending promise. 24/7, 365 days a year, wherever you're at, promise. So case in point, my last Dr. D story for you. When this happened in June, I told my brother I go flying into the car, and I'm like, I can't wait to tell my students. So recently I flew to Florida for the birth of my first grandbaby. I decided to take the red eye so that I could sleep and relax. The universe had another something for me to do. During the second leg of my journey from Denver to Orlando, about 2 o'clock in the morning, in a very dark cabin full of sleeping people, most of them kids and babies because they were going to Disney World, the flight attendant comes over the speaker with the dreaded, "Do we have anybody with the medical background on board?" I'm half asleep listening to one of my true crime podcasts, but it was like somebody hit me with a cattle prod. I'm like, jerk up. I start looking around for that ER doc. NP, anybody? Nobody? It's me. So I raise my hand, reluctantly almost. You don't know what you're going back to. And I said, I'm a nurse. I crawled over my seatmates who didn't even wake up. I had to have that window seat, and I followed the flight attendant back to the very last row of the plane. There sat a very diaphoretic, which is sweaty for you non-medical people, young man. He was bent over, clutching his abdomen and making statements like, I feel like somebody is putting a knife in my gut and twisting it. Fabulous. I was happy not to say I was very happy not to see that AED device out, though. So that was good news. I moved people around for privacy so I could assess him, because now I'm his nurse. And in my head, I start going through those differential diagnoses. Gas, bowel obstruction, Crohn's, appendicitis, maybe he's having an exacerbation of colitis. About this time, a flight attendant hands a stethoscope, a manual blood pressure cuff, and a chart. It looks like it came out of like that Fisher-Price Dr. Kids kit. I'm not kidding. I was just like, what? And can you hear on an airplane? No. All right. So I start my focus assessment. He's a little tachycardic. I took his blood pressure like 50 times. I'm thinking 140s in the 90s. It was hard to hear anything. But he told me that his pain had started when he was walking through the terminal earlier in the evening. He said at first it started like in his umbilicus or belly button area, but now was clearly manifesting on his right lower side. I continue asking him questions, documenting, and at one point I look up because I'm down on my knees, and there's 3 flight attendants like over me like hawks, and they're just staring at me, waiting for some kind of direction because I'm the nurse. After a few minutes, I'm ready. I want to stand up and say, I'm ready to solve the puzzle, Pat. About that time, one of the flight attendants taps me on the shoulder and hands me a phone that looks like it belonged in the 1991 Batmobile. I just was like, okay. I put it up to my ear. I hear, hello, This is Joe Smith, your captain. I said, hello. This is Sandra Davis, your nurse. Would you like an update on your passenger? To which he replied yes, and that medical ground would also be listening in. Awesome. So I looked down at my notes, and students, for a split second, I thought I was in a clinical sim. And if I just closed my eyes and I clicked my heel together 3 times, I would look up and I would see Professor Kuski telling me sim was over. But that didn't happen, so here goes. I have a 22-year-old male complaining of severe abdominal pain, 8 out of 10, that began a couple hours ago before boarding the plane. At that time, the pain was located in his umbilicus area and now is localized in his right lower quadrant. He is alert and oriented times 4, a little tearful, skin warm to the touch, and vital signs are stable. Clear lungs bilaterally, hypoactive bowel sounds. Last bowel movement was yesterday. On assessment, I noted garden in the abdomen, a positive McBurney sign, and a positive obturator sign. I recommend that he be worked up to rule out acute appendicitis. He's lying on his side at this time across 3 seats, saying that his pain is now 6 out of 10. There was such a long pause, I thought he hung up on me. But I think he was conferring with ground medical. He comes back on and he says, I need to ask you a question, Sarah. Who's Sarah? But I'm the nurse, so I just keep on. I reply, yes. And he says, do I need to emergently land this aircraft? I felt a little powerful, but I had already made a clinical judgment. So I replied, pulled myself together and said, your passenger is stable at this time. His pain is tolerable as long as he can lay on his side. I'll stay with him and then until we land, at which time he'll need to be transferred to a local ER for a workup. The captain stated that he thought that was a good idea, and that ground medical also thought that that was a good idea, and they would meet us at the gate. So nurses, I made him NPO for the next 2 hours, and I watched him because I was his nurse, and I had this moment, sitting in the dark, 4 o'clock in the morning, 35,000 miles up in the air somewhere, probably Arkansas or something, of great pride as I looked down at the chart and I saw my name. Sandra Davis, RN. Not PhD, not CRNA, not CHESI, RN, registered nurse. Right back where I started before all the fancy letters. Who I will always be at my core, who you will always be at your core. So never forget who you are and where you started, wherever you are, because the public is counting on you. The rest of the flight went fine. EMTs came on. They took him off. Everybody cheered. Woo! Off he went. His dad called me the next day and left a voicemail thanking me for taking care of his son, letting me know that he was home, comfortable, minus his appendix. So welcome aboard, nurses. You are entering a profession where you too could land a 737 plane full of people on their way to Disney World, based on who you are and who you have become here at Linfield University without one pilot lesson. In all seriousness, I want to welcome each one of you to this noble and honorable profession. It has been a true honor and my pleasure to be your professor this past year. You are a very bright, kind, considerate, funny, compassionate group, and I will never forget your compassion and kindness when my dad died last fall. You all have my heart, and I will miss each and every one of you. Never stop learning, never stop loving people, and never forget who you are and where you started. The nursing pins that you're receiving tonight are symbols of both your education and your commitment to the public. That is the core of nursing. Wear it with pride, and remember your past, savor your present, and set those goals for the future. Love you all.
Oh, man. Those Linfield faculty are the best. All right, oh, she got a free ticket? You did not get a free ticket. You should call them back. Okay, we need photographers because we have something important now. Today we're going to celebrate 3 different groups of students. Most are graduating from the pre-licensure program before being licensed as a registered nurse. The RN to BSN students are licensed registered nurses who made the choice to further their education by seeking a baccalaureate in nursing. And most of these nurses do this while continuing to work full-time as a nurse. And you know, during COVID, full-time means about 70 hours a week. It takes incredible self-direction and commitment to return to nursing school. And finally, we are celebrating a partial group of our students who completed their Masters of Science in Nursing program. Most of these students have been in the field for some period of time, but they're committed to learning and making an impact on their field. Because both the RN to BSN and the MSN students, our programs are completely online, these students are from many parts of the country and indeed many parts of the world, so they could not all be with us today. But each semester, our faculty selects students from each program to receive awards for excellence in practice, leadership, and service. Our first award is the Outstanding MSN Graduate Student. This award recognizes someone who not only excelled academically, but also demonstrated great leadership. The MSN program prepares nurses to engage as a collaborative healthcare leader, promote an ecological view of health and health systems, recognize the interrelationships between the healthcare system, the environment, individuals, populations, and advocate for a sustainable and just healthcare and global ecosystem. The MSN faculty recognize this year's recipient for his excellence in all courses. He has been the student representative to the MSN program meetings, offering invaluable insight and perspective as we continue to continuously improve our program. Please join me in welcoming and congratulating Richard Thompson, the 2021 Outstanding Graduate Student. Richard, please come up. The next award is our Senior Honors in Nursing Award. The criteria used by faculty for the selection of the Senior Honors is a grade point average of 3.5 or higher based on a 4.0 scale, and exceptional performance in clinical practice. Today, these graduates will receive this award and a certificate that reads, "In recognition of your leadership skills and your caring, competence, and professionalism in the nursing practice, we hold you in high esteem and celebrate your excellence." Their names will also be engraved on a plaque that is located in the administrative building immediately behind us. Please join us in congratulating these two recipients as they come to the stage. The RN BSN recipient of the Senior Honors in Nursing is Rachel Lionhardy. And the pre-licensure recipient of the Senior Honors Award in Nursing is Brianna Atkinson. This next award is not given every year. It is reserved for those years when a graduate is identified by the nursing faculty who excels in leadership, scholarship, and the human science of nursing. The following criteria are used to determine eligibility for this award: caring for those around, clients, classmates, faculty, other professionals, self, and the community; a leader in clinical practice, student government, and the community; an effective communicator; a critical thinker who can see different perspectives and yet share a personal outlook, even though that may not be popular; a potentially skilled clinician scholar, and in touch with the ability to use influence wisely. Please join me in recognizing Danielle Butcher Tucker. Our final award honors Wilma Pope, the Good Samaritan nursing graduate and former faculty member who taught in both the Emmanuel and Good Samaritan diploma schools, as well as the Linfield Good Samaritan School of Nursing. This award speaks to characteristics that go beyond academic achievement to include demonstrates caring and clinical practice in university activities and classes, demonstrates clinical competence, and models professional behavior and clinical practice, schools, and activities. Demonstrates involvement and leadership in student organizations. Please join me in congratulating Miriam Clark. It is time. It is time to bestow the Linfield's Master's Hoods on our MSN graduates. The hoods are lined with the official color of the university conferring the degree, so in this case red and purple, and the trim of the hood represents the color of the discipline. In this case, nursing is represented with apricot. The hood is tangible evidence that Linfield claims you as one of our own. Wear this hood proudly. It is an outward sign of your work and your dedication. I would like to ask Dr. Gary Louston, inaugural coordinator of the Master's of Science in Nursing program, to come to the stage to hood our MSN graduates as Dr. Kim Kentz tells us about each one who could be here today.
This thing's taller than me. That's not hard to do. Melinda Betty Jean Close, Salem, Oregon. Practicum project plan, hospital-acquired pressure injury reduction through weekly rounding. Heidi Marie Frawley, Gresham, Oregon. Practicum project plan, the electronic questionnaire, savings with the transition from paper to electronic questionnaires. Molly Pekachek, Tacoma, Washington. Practicum project plan, continuous renal replacement therapy training, upskilling critical care nurses. Richard Thompson, Tacoma, Washington. Practicum project plan, conversion of a paper log sheet to an electronic multidisciplinary quality improvement process.
It is now time to have our Linfield nursing pins. We are honored to have you wear tangible evidence of Linfield University. As you enter the workforce as a registered nurse, the care you give reflects on the quality of the education you have received at Linfield, our values, the degree, and your commitment to the patients that you serve. A pin is a tangible evidence that Linfield claims you as one of their own. You have earned this honor and right to wear the Linfield pin. Today, we honor you for a job well done, and in doing so, you honor nursing. Before we bestow the pins, I would like to acknowledge that our RN to BSN graduates could not be with us today, but we are going to pin all of our pre-licensure students. Dr. Paul Smith and Professor Jennifer Bransfield were selected by the students to present the pins. Would you come up, please? And Professor Jordan Ferris will read the names as the graduates accept their pins. Students decided with whom to sit today, so the names will not necessarily be called in alphabetical order. Feel free to applaud your graduate. If you'd like to come forward and get a picture, feel free to come forward and get a picture. Students, please come forward to accept your pin.
Kira Whiting. Darren Isaac. Tara Giscombe. Rayanna Borchard.
Well, you made it so easy for me.
Emily Balaguer.
Hello, William Walton.
William Walton. Danielle Butcher.
Samantha Morrish.
Samantha Morrish. Stephanie Duran. Wilson Lee. Tim Hayes. Caitlin Durham. Marcy Moeller. Amanda Wood. Callie Cleary. Cheyenne Pestka. Hannah Isaac.
Alex. Thank you. I was like, I know who you are.
Alex Potwin.
I need a spare. Just throw it on there for now.
Matthew Schuler.
I'm gonna get all caught up here.
Monica Tran.
So much, Ferris.
McKenna Spear. Mary Kios.
Very good phonetic spelling.
Daniel Davis. Katie Fan. Nicole Corbelli. Jamie Gomes. Haley Rosen.
That makes sense.
Oh, Megan with a T. Tegan. Yeah. I've never heard would have said it, so thank you. You made my job good.
Tegan Corkery.
Pretty easy.
I got you, Cameron.
Cameron Walker.
Lichtenberg.
Daniel Lichtenberg.
I was gonna freak out of my ears.
Maya Newharth.
I'm from West. I live in West Lynn. Yeah. I was like, oh, we live in the same place.
Sophia Chesley. Delaney Garrett. Kelsey McLean.
I should, right? I should. Watch it be the one.
Jordan Reed.
Yeah, Jordan.
I worried about you first semester. And then look what you did.
Trevor Prinz. Madison Stevenson. Derek Holt. Miriam Clark.
Felicia.
Felicia Covey. Lauren Schreiber.
Mauer. That's right.
Sydney Mauer.
Do people say Zoob? They do. Not today, though.
Stephanie Zub. Gregory Dallas. Julie Swander. Brianna Atkinson. Mariko Sasaki. Victor Zayas.
Graduates, in a time-honored tradition, you should now move your tassels from the right to the left. Congratulations. I want to give you another invitation from Linfield University, and that is to come back for commencement in May. You would always be welcome to do that, but you are proud graduates as of this moment, so we're delighted.
It is the conclusion of our program, and to our graduates we say, take pride in how far you've come, have faith in how far you will go, and never forget to enjoy the journey. Audience, please remain seated as the faculty and staff will be followed by the graduates. We will recess to the photo area and reception area. Thank you so much for attending and celebrating with us today.